I don't even know how long I've been off now. I don't even know how long. I've lost a lot of size, a lot of body weight overall, a lot of mass. I'm leaner. I'm less muscular. Uh, I'm coming back up a little bit though. Um, it's really not about the gear. It's just not about the gear. I know that's so disheartening to a lot of you haters and busters out there. I know it's so hard for you guys to take. I know it is. I know it is. It's just not about the gear. So I've been off now a long time, good, pretty good while, and I was smaller when I first came off because I did not train, I did not eat properly, not as if I had any interest to retaining muscle. Just let myself get into shit shape, and small as possible in a period of time. If I kept it up, I could have gotten smaller. Then I resumed training, and I rolled in some decent nutrition. And there were some stumbling blocks along the way I had to figure out. A lot of stuff was different, and there was a small window there, a short period of time, when I actually began to think, man, I'm not going to figure this out. My body has changed so much now that now me completely off as a natural, I'm lost. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to train. I don't know how to eat for it because my body responds so differently than it did the last time I had done anything like this to this extent. And let me clarify that by saying, yeah, sure, I've been off. I was off like 7 months, almost 8 months when I had the slap tear. Never went below 250 pounds. But my body composition changed greatly. I put on fat. I was kind of fat after I came back from that because that's a whole other approach. Just keeping the weight on. Just keeping the weight on. It's easier to do a recomp if you keep the weight on. But this time, I've actually stayed lean and actually gotten leaner. And that means my body's in utter chaos. It doesn't know what's going on. Nothing is consistent. And like I've told you 100 times, the human body loves consistency. So nothing, it loves regularity and consistency. So nothing is regular and consistent about that, about dropping all that weight, all that size, all that muscle, and fat too. So the body's scrambling trying to figure it out. So until the body actually gets some kind of baseline established, how the hell am I going to figure out what to do? It was pretty tough. Um, anyway, here we are now, and I'm feeling pretty good because clearly my own natural production has resumed, which I didn't know. It was an experiment. I didn't know if it would, but apparently it has. And I'll get tested this month, and then we'll see where I'm at. But I'm sure I'm low because because of my age. But there are a bunch of fallacies out there and myths, misunderstandings that I think this pretty much shatters. And now, of course, there are outliers everywhere, and maybe I could be an outlier. I don't know. It's too much stuff. There's too much shit in the game for me to say that this can apply to everybody, because certainly nothing that one individual does necessarily is guaranteed to apply to everybody else. Um, though we're all human organism, we're all basically the same thing. We're the same thing overall. But first thing this totally blows out of the water is the little busters and haters. They love to say, you'll lose it all. You come off. It's not permanent. It's not real muscle. You'll lose it all. Clearly, that's not true, dudes. You little busters and haters, you don't even look this good. And I'm 55 years old and on nothing. On nothing. Lost 40 fucking pounds of almost all muscle, that 40 pounds. So I've lost over 40, but I lost a good 40 pounds of muscle. And I've already come back up and regained some and haven't resumed any kind of testosterone or anything. So that's the first thing. You lose it all. No, you don't lose it all. You'll lose it all if it was never yours. You lose it all if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you didn't build a foundation to begin with, you don't have a foundation in the end. When you come off all the shit, you're just borrowing that muscle. If you lose it all, then you should have stayed natural a lot longer and actually learned something about your body. Actually learned something instead of just, throwing a bunch of shit in the game and clouding the issue and not really figuring out how your body functions, how your body works, and not building that strong foundation. Next thing is, and this kind of just, I'm just going to slip this in there. Everybody thinks you got to be on gobs and gobs of gear. That's not true. I can walk around 270, 273, decently lean, acceptably lean, 24/7 around the clock all year if I want to. And yeah, I'm going to be on gear, but not very much. Not very much. And only testosterone. Now, yes, there's a caveat there. I will use various esters, but only testosterone, nothing else. So you do not have to run tons of gear. You do not have to run a gram of gear. You don't. Okay? There are dudes that are walking around 200 pounds that are on over a gram and shit because you think that's true. Now, a lot of these people now are putting these channels up and they're unqualified. They shouldn't even be putting them up. And I think that YouTube should shut the shit down, to tell you the truth. I think they should shut a lot of these guys down. And I've never really talked about this kind of thing. And if I did start talking about it, they should shut that down too. Because people are irresponsible. You've got morons on here now. There's some kids that are coming on here making videos. One guy in particular, I'm just not going to name because it's not in me, but I've seen some of his new videos, and I've come to the conclusion after seeing about 5 or 6 of his videos that he is offering the absolute worst advice on testosterone use or gear use that I've ever seen in my entire 55 years of being alive. It's the worst advice ever that I've seen. There might be worse out there, probably is, but I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of shitty advice. His shit's the worst. So if there's one person that believes any of his bullshit, then, dude, you're doing people a grave injustice. Stop. Find something else that you actually know about to make a channel about, whatever that might be. Whittling pine wood derby cars, whatever it might be. Tennis, I don't know, whatever it might be. Because the shit you're trying to put up, the content, it's wrong. You're making a fool of yourself, and that's not it. And the people that anybody that possibly believes in you is a very, very tiny channel, minuscule, just starting. Nonetheless, if there's anybody watching it that believes any of that shit, you're wrong. And this guy's giving advice like, first cycle should be 500 mgs. Good starting point. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. For a small guy, 500 mgs is his first cycle. It's ridiculous. And then he's got, second time around or whatever, he's now stacking things. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely nuts. And I don't know what he's on. I haven't gotten that far yet, but he weighs 215. 215, dude. And he's really tall now, but he's tall. He's over 6 foot. 215. And you need all that shit to weigh 215, then you have a health problem. Then you should have went to the doctor, and you should have done it the right way. He wouldn't have given you 500 milligrams a week to begin with. Any of you dudes out there that have it in your head that you're going to end up over 250, you're going to be some monster, you're going to be the next Phil Heath or something. And a lot of you little busters and haters, you won't admit that, but that's in the back of your mind. You would love it. Would be, that'd be a dream come true. But you know what? You're not going to get there by taking grams now. You're teeny little, you're small guy, man, minuscule, just building some muscle. You think you need that much. You're going to have to go up later. You're not going to have anywhere to go. You'll never get there. By the time you get to be, 220, if you get there, how much are you going to be on then? If you're sub 200 pound guy, or you're 200 pound guy, you're already on over a gram, what are you going to be doing by the time, you have this vision in your head, you're going to be some huge hulking beast? It's not going to happen. Wake the fuck up. Wake up. You're not going to get there, because you have to keep bumping things up as you get really big. So you need to start very, very low, if that's your trip. And I'm not encouraging anybody to do it, because there's a lot of health problems associated with it. And I'm going to tell you right now that tons and tons of people that are having heart problems, I'm going to tell you a bombshell right now. And believe me, more guys are having heart problems and being hospitalized for heart issues than you know about, because they're not coming out here making videos telling you about it. And they are some top name guys. One dude in particular who was hospitalized, heart problems. And they're trying to push him to become the new shit. And all you guys know who this chump is. And rather than he come out and tells people advice they could really use and tell them the truth, like, hey, don't kill yourself like I almost did. He's just keep on going full blast ahead, right? Encouraging people to, yeah, this is the life. It's not the life. And hell, here's the bombshell part. You know why I think people are having heart problems? Then they come off of this shit and they don't have them, because all these people where's the raw materials come from? All the same place. So where's all the underground labs get the raw materials? Where do they get them from? Same place. Talking about the country that had lead and plastic in their own baby formula. They're feeding their own children. Come on, man. And that's where the raw materials are coming from. Do you understand that the raw materials are coming from there, and you're injecting this shit in your muscle an inch, inch and a half, if you're real big, maybe 2 inches deep sometimes. You sure you want to do that? How do you know there's not some heavy metals in there? How do you know that the totality of the shit that you're going to put into your body isn't going to equate to toxic levels? How do you know this isn't what's causing heart problems? How do you know? Because it ain't just the testosterone, it ain't the test. So maybe it's something else in association with it that you don't know is in there. Raw materials all coming from the same place. Go to the doctors, do it properly, be happy to be alive. Enjoy your life. That's my advice. You can get plenty big without gear. Bigger than you think you can. Most people can. And with a little bit, you can get even bigger. This is me on nothing at 55 friggin' years old. So, you don't need tons of shit. You do not need tons of shit. The other thing is, everybody thinks you're going to have some kind of, take some kind of estrogen blocker right while you're on. Why? I've never done it. Never. Never had any sides, nothing. Maybe hold a little bit of water sometimes when I'm on very, very, very little. Never. Never. But yet they follow the leader, right? Everybody just does the same thing. How do you know that you're sensitive to things? Certainly you'd be responsible. You should have access to these things. You should have that all figured into whatever you're doing. And then if a problem arises, you'll know how to address it. But how do you know you need that? You're cutting yourself out of half your gains right there. Cutting yourself out of half your gains right there, you don't even know it by blocking that shit. Next thing is the HPTA thing. Everybody thinks it's so hard to get restarted. You got to do your PCT. Never done it. Never done it. 55 years old, didn't do it this time. Yeah, it was harder than hell because I just cold turkey stopped initially. But clearly, I'm coming back up now. Hey, I ain't no porn star in the bedroom yet, but I'm making vast improvements. Now, when I was geared up, oh yeah, but 55. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you think you know. People ain't always a fact. Just something to think about and roll around in your head there.